Okay, so you want to own a vending machine empire. Buy a few machines, fill them with chips and candy, collect cash every week. Sounds like the easiest business in the world. A machine that sells for you while you sleep. No employees, no lease, no angry customers demanding to speak to the manager. Just passive income, right? Except here's the thing nobody tells you before you buy your first machine. Most vending machine owners make less per hour than a fast food worker, and a small number of operators are quietly clearing 6 figures a year off machines most people walk right past without noticing. The difference between those two groups has nothing to do with luck, and it has almost nothing to do with the machine itself. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what a vending machine actually costs to own and run, how the money really flows through a route, and why the location decision matters more than every other decision in this business combined. Let's start with what this business actually looks like from the outside. You've seen these machines your whole life, in hospital lobbies, school hallways, office break rooms, gym locker areas. There are roughly 7 million vending machines operating across the United States right now, generating close to $23 billion a year in combined sales. That's not a niche hobby business, that's a legitimate industry hiding in plain sight. And unlike a restaurant, a vending machine has no cook, no wait staff, no seating, and no operating hours. It just sits there and sells, which makes it sound almost bulletproof. It is not, and the reason why starts with the price tag. Most people never actually research before they buy. A brand new full-size snack and drink combo machine, the kind you see in most office buildings, runs between $3,000 and $6,000. A refrigerated drink-only unit typically costs $2,000 to $4,000 new. Buy used, and you can find a functional machine for $500 to $1,500. But used machines carry real risk, aging bill validators that jam constantly, cooling systems on their last legs, zero warranty, and nobody to call when something breaks. Most first-time operators start with 2 or 3 machines, and if you spend around $4,000 each on 2 decent refurbished combo units, that's $8,000 gone before you've sold a single bag of chips. Then you need a vehicle to service your route, and if you don't already own something suitable, add another $10,000 to $30,000, new or used. Add initial inventory, roughly $300 to $500 per machine to stock it fully, and your total launch cost for 2 machines, a vehicle, and starting product lands somewhere between $20,000 and $40,000. That's genuinely not nothing, but compared to opening a restaurant or a gym, it's one of the cheaper businesses you can start. And here's the twist: almost nobody explains up front. The real cost of entry was never the machine. It's the location, and that single fact is the entire game. So how does the money actually flow? The basic math sounds almost too good to be true. You buy a bag of chips for 50 cents wholesale and sell it for $1.50. That's $1 of gross profit on one bag. A can of soda costs 35 to 45 cents in bulk and sells for $1.25 to $2, depending on the location. Water costs you about 25 cents and often sells for $2. Gross margins on vending products typically run between 50 and 70%, which sounds incredible on paper. But gross margin is not profit, not even close. And here's the entire business compressed into one sentence: volume times margin minus location cost equals what you actually keep. A machine sitting in a bad spot might do $50 a week in total sales. After product cost, that's maybe $25 to $30 in gross profit, and after your driving time, fuel, and any commission owed to the location, you might clear $10 a week, which comes out to about $520 a year, on a machine that cost you $4,000 to buy. That's nearly 8 years just to break even. Now flip the scenario. A machine placed inside a busy hospital cafeteria, a large factory floor, or a college dorm building can do $500 to $1,500 a week in sales. Same machine, same snacks, wildly different outcome. That's why location isn't one factor among many in this business. It's essentially the entire business. Now let's talk about the costs nobody warns you about before you sign up. Commission fees are the first one, and most good locations won't let you place a machine for free. They charge a commission, usually 10 to 25% of gross sales. A hospital might take 20% of every dollar the machine earns, which cuts your margin almost in half at exactly the locations doing the most volume. Premium spots like airports and universities sometimes charge flat monthly fees instead, running anywhere from $100 to $500 a month per machine. Then there's product shrinkage and expiration, because food goes bad, and if you overstock a slow machine before you understand its real sales velocity, you're pulling expired chips and eating the loss directly out of your margin. Repairs and maintenance are relentless too. A bill validator fails and the machine stops taking cash entirely. A coil jams and a bag gets stuck. A refrigeration compressor dies in the middle of summer, and you lose an entire machine's worth of drinks to spoilage overnight. Budget at least 10 to 15% of revenue annually just for repairs, especially on older units. Credit card readers are their own expense category now too, since most people under 40 simply don't carry cash anymore, and a cashless terminal runs $50 to $150 per machine, plus processing fees of 5 to 8% on every transaction, eating further into your margin, though skipping the reader costs you even more in lost sales at modern locations. And then there's route time, the single factor that kills the passive income fantasy hardest. Every machine needs restocking, roughly weekly if it's busy, every 2 weeks if it's slow, meaning you drive out, unload product, restock, count cash, log the data, and drive to the next stop. 2 machines across a city might eat half a day of your week. 30 machines spread across a metro area is a full-time job with a van attached to it. Add theft and vandalism, which happens more than people expect, especially in low-traffic or poorly lit spots, and location churn, where the business that hosted your machine for 2 years gets bought out or downsizes, and your $800 a week machine drops to zero overnight while you scramble to find a replacement spot. So who's actually doing this well? Luke Perkins started with a single-use snack machine in 2017 in a small Phoenix office complex, paying $800 for it off Craigslist, earning about $80 a week starting out. He reinvested everything, added a second machine 6 months later, then a third, and by 2020 had 22 machines across Phoenix placed in gyms, dealerships, and mid-size office buildings, generating roughly $280,000 a year in gross revenue and netting around $90,000 after every expense. That's a real, reachable number for a solo operator willing to grind through the early years. On the far end of the scale sit companies like Canteen, owned by Compass Group, operating hundreds of thousands of machines across corporate campuses, hospitals, and government buildings nationwide, generating billions in annual vending revenue through multi-year institutional contracts. They're not your competition when you're starting out, but they prove the ceiling this model can actually reach. The interesting middle tier is regional operators running 50 to 500 machines with a small team, clearing $200,000 to $700,000 a year with just 2 or 3 employees and a tight, well-optimized route. Now, how do people lose everything on this? There's one failure pattern that shows up again and again, and it's almost never about the machines themselves. It's paying too much for bad locations. Someone buys 10 machines excited to scale fast, can't land good organic spots because those take time and relationships to build, so they pay a location broker, sometimes called a locator, charging $200 to $500 per placement. The problem is locators get paid to place machines, not to find you good machines, so they'll drop your unit in the back hallway of a dentist's office with 12 employees, and you'll collect $40 a month wondering where your investment went. The second killer is scaling without systems, growing to 20 or 30 machines without route management software, driving inefficient loops that quietly drop your real hourly rate below minimum wage, leaving you busy constantly while barely breaking even, which isn't a business, that's a job you accidentally bought yourself. The third failure is ignoring the data every modern cashless machine generates automatically, which tells you exactly which product sells fastest and when, and operators who ignore it keep stocking things that don't move while running out of things that do, until the waste compounds and they quit. So what can you realistically walk away with? Take a small part-time operator, running 5 combo machines, across a few offices, and a small gym, averaging $150 a week per machine. about $3,250 a month in total sales. After product cost, location commissions, card processing fees, fuel, and a maintenance reserve, you're left with roughly $640 a month, about $7,700 a year, working maybe 15 hours a month, which comes out to around $43 an hour for your time. A solid side income, but not life-changing. Now take a serious operator running 35 machines across 2 hospital complexes, a university, several office buildings, and a manufacturing plant, averaging $450 a week per machine, over $68,000 a month in gross sales. After every single expense, commissions, processing fees, a part-time driver, vehicle costs, and maintenance reserves, net profit lands around $10,300 a month, or roughly $121,000 a year, working this full-time, but having built a genuine income-generating asset. Once those machines are paid off within the first year or so of operation, every additional dollar of profit is entirely yours, and a single well-placed machine can generate $30,000 to $60,000 in total lifetime profit over 10 to 15 years of operation, off equipment that cost $4,000 to buy. So here's the final picture. Vending machines are one of the rare businesses where the equipment itself is genuinely cheap, the margins are real, and the only true limit on scale is how many good locations you can find and service efficiently. The passive income fantasy, drop a machine somewhere and check in once a month, is mostly a myth. The real version of this business is active, data-driven, and built on relationships with building managers and location owners who control access to foot traffic. But for the operator willing to work the route, track every number, and keep upgrading the location mix year after year, the math genuinely works. Start with 2 machines, learn the business, reinvest every dollar back in, and in 5 years you could be looking at 40 machines generating 6 figures annually, or 2 dusty machines in a dentist's office lobby collecting $30 a month, and a quiet regret about that $8,000 you spent. The machine was never going to decide which outcome you got. You were.